Records are meant to be broken, but how many records have been set only to be broken by the same record holder the next year, the year after that, the year after that, and the year after that? The biggest event of the year for Valve's Dota 2, the International, is the gold standard in esports for crowdfunding prize pools, with Valve consistently one-upping themselves every year to break the record yet again. But how do they do it? How does a company provide enough incentive for players to pour ever-increasing amounts of money for cosmetics each and every year? In this video, we will try to answer that question, examining the evolution of Dota 2's The International, how Valve and Dota 2 have managed to keep players invested in its most prestigious tournament for nearly a decade, and why the community keeps pouring money into the prize pool, increasing the purse by millions of dollars every single year. Dota 2's yearly tournament began modestly in 2011, with the International premiering at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. This was also the public's first look at the sequel to the Warcraft 3 mod. Valve offered $1.6 million in prize money, an amount previously unheard of for a game this new, and established a new record for the largest prize pool for an esports tournament. With Valve sponsoring the tournament themselves, it was clear they thought they had something special. The second International again held a prize pool of $1.6 million provided by Valve, and this time it was hosted at the Benaroya Hall in Seattle, Washington. Unlike the previous year, which was invite only, this time, 2 teams would be able to earn their spot in the final 16 through qualifying matches. This was the first International to make use of Dota 2's client spectator tools, and players were able to watch the International directly through their game. These first 2 tournaments were fairly small compared to today, but they were Valve's first attempts in hosting esports events. They are fondly remembered but didn't break too much new ground. 2013 would be the year that Valve felt comfortable enough to put a twist on the formula. The third International, once again held in Seattle, featured the first iteration of something called the Dota 2 Compendium, a digital purchase designed to engage fans with the International and its professional teams, while also giving players a way to directly support the tournament. For each compendium item purchase, and in all compendiums in the years following, a quarter of the proceeds would be added into the International's prize pool. Much like a Kickstarter, stretch goals were also introduced, which incentivized the community to reach certain prize pool amounts and unlock rewards for everyone. But it wasn't just a donation. The compendium provided players with a custom courier, qualifier predictions, and polls letting the community decide what players would take part in the All-Star and Solo Championship matches. One of the stretch goals featured for the International 2013 were Immortal items, a category of cosmetic items with custom ability icons, effects, and animations. Immortal rarity items are only obtainable through their associated events or through the Steam marketplace. This effect of supply and demand has raised the price of some extremely rare and sought-after items, and Immortals from past Internationals can still sell for hundreds of dollars. Valve's strategy was a success. The International 2013 prize pool nearly matched Valve's initial investment by the time of the tournament, reaching over $2.8 million. Again, a new record-breaking figure for esports tournaments and an astounding show of support from the community. With the anticipation of the International 2014, Valve decided to stick with what worked and released a new compendium for the upcoming tournament, now set to be hosted at the Key Arena in Seattle, Washington. Further improving on last year's concept, players now had the option to purchase compendium points to increase their compendium's level and unlock rewards for it. Like the compendium itself, a quarter of the proceeds from each of these purchases also contributed to the prize pool. Incentivizing players to level their compendium, special in-game effects were unlocked at certain levels and players received a special gem or emoticon based on their level to show off in-game. Immortals made a return with the new Immortal Strongbox and a set of 9 new Immortal items. Additional Immortal Strongboxes were rewarded every 10 levels of the compendium, with 2 at level 80 and 3 at level 90 for those that reached high enough, adding yet another reason to buy. Stretch goals made a return as well, with some unlocking new features and game modes for all players, not just compendium owners. This was also the first appearance of the Arcana vote, allowing players to vote which hero should receive a high tier cosmetic. The Arcana vote itself had a tournament style, with heroes being eliminated each week and the ones with the most votes moving on. This would continue until only 2 finalists remained and the winner was revealed live at the International main event. With the increasing popularity of Dota 2 alongside the event, the prize pool of the International 2014 saw exponential growth. The community managed to surpass Valve's final stretch goal of 6 million after just 12 days, prompting Valve to add more stretch goals, up to $10 million. The community rose to the occasion, surpassing the $10 million mark and stopping just short of $11 million. When all was said and done, the prize pool totaled $10,923,977. For the International 2015, the compendium featured 20 stretch goals up to $15 million. Valve continued to use the compendium as a testbed for new features and additions, this year trying out a new type of cosmetic, pets, that followed around certain heroes during the game but would have no gameplay impact, with a special version being unlocked at level 175. Now that buying the compendium was just a small part of the whole experience, Valve started putting certain special cosmetics at higher levels, always providing some item or reward for players to spend money towards. For example, the new Golden International themed items. At level 175, players received an immortal item for the fan favorite Enigma that made his iconic black hole ability have a golden effect. At level 200, a golden version of the year's custom courier was also unlocked, and at level 250, a golden effigy statue that appears during games. 18 immortals were created for this year's International and were now split into 3 sets of immortal treasure chests, each with their own immortal items and unique, especially rare drops. Additional treasures were given to players at certain levels in their compendium, with some of the higher compendium levels rewarding multiple treasures. A recycling system was also included for players to discard duplicate items. Transcending digital rewards, players that reached compendium level 1000, a roughly $400 feat, were given a golden Aegis of Champions for their fountain in-game, and were eligible to receive a 1/5 scale physical model of the Aegis of Champions, an inscribed collectible version of the trophy for the International. The prize pool of the International 2015 shattered the previous year's record, jumping nearly $8 million and concluding at a total of $18,429,613. The following year, Valve stripped the notion that the compendium was a singular $10 purchase and renamed the International Compendium to the International 2016 Battle Pass. The price and function of the Battle Pass, along with its point boosters, were the same as the previous year's International Compendiums. However, stretch goals were removed and rewards were all unlocked with the purchase and leveling up of the Battle Pass. By this point, the International was the biggest and most prestigious event that Dota hosted every year. It became a celebration of the game that all players at all skill levels could participate in and engage with. Competitive players had the tournament to look forwards to, and casual fans could enjoy all the cosmetic and gameplay additions that the Battle Pass provided, which far surpassed any other additions that Valve put in during other parts of the year. Purchasing and working through the Battle Pass became an event within itself. Following this idea of the event within the event, quests made their first appearance in the 2016 Battle Pass. Quests challenged players to complete certain conditions and win the game to advance further on the quest path, ultimately unlocking a set of items for one of 3 available heroes, depending on the chosen path. In addition, Battle Pass owners that reached level 225 could get a Prestige Immortal item for Legion Commander after completing a small quest chain. Prestige items are rewards that are not tradable or marketable and can only be obtained through the associated Battle Pass for that year. Other than that, they are completely unattainable afterwards. More new additions were added, and very few things were removed. It seemed like every new year brought a bunch of new features. 2016 notably introduced Rylai's Battle Blessing, a roulette wheel that rewarded cosmetics, and river vials that changed the color of the river for all players. To further incentivize the community to break last year's record, if the International prize pool surpassed the previous year's total, Valve promised all Battle Pass owners 3 Trust of the Benefactor treasure chests. These chests would reward historical cosmetic items not obtainable anymore through normal means, which meant that they sold for high prices on the community market. Unsurprisingly, all of these new additions worked, and the International 2016 prize pool reached $20,770,460. Despite moving forward every year, Valve was far from out of ideas. The International 2017 Battle Pass brought with it a brand new game mode and multiplayer campaign for Battle Pass owners. Known as Siltbreaker, it featured 2 separate acts, sprawling maps, new gameplay elements, and its own story to expand the lore of Dota 2. Siltbreaker had its fans, but the newly implemented chat wheel sounds made much more of an impact. These sound bites included caster moments that could be played in-game for everyone to hear.
Brutal, savage, ranked.
To commemorate the highly contested Arcana vote of the previous year, which saw the 2 finalists separated by only a few percent, a prestige Arcana item for IO was added anyway at level 245 of the Battle Pass. The level 1000 reward returned again, and were stylized in blue to reflect the theme of this year's International, and also added a special effect to the player's health bar. This time, Valve decided to add another tier for those incredibly committed to increasing their Battle Pass. At level 2000, players were rewarded with the Collector's Baby Roshan 2017 Custom Courier, in-game gold tech string for Roshan, and eligibility to register for a physical Baby Roshan statue. With Dota 2's ever-increasing popularity and the brand new campaign mode that was added, the International once again broke its previous record for the largest esports prize pool, with a total of $24,787,916. By now, Valve had an established formula, with the prize pool record set by Dota 2 only being broken by the International the following year. But some other long-standing traditions of the International were also bound to be broken. The International 2018 was the first International to be held outside of America since its reveal at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, and was hosted at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia. For the International Battle Pass 2018, quests were reworked into Cavern Crawl, and a new game mode was made available to Battle Pass owners called the Underhollow. Teams of 3 would battle through a labyrinth to try and be the last one standing, earning them points towards their Battle Pass. Cavern Crawl featured a new board-style map layout and reward paths. Completing a path would unlock the associated set, with style unlocks available for discovery along the way, and the chance at a very rare custom courier. For the first time, custom creeps and sprays were added to this battle pass. Custom creeps were awarded to players at level 190, and custom sprays unlocked at specific levels starting at level 26 and ending at level 1875. Unique to the Battle Pass 2018 was a promise of Eminent Revival treasure chest that was rewarded to players at level 615. While it featured immortal items from previous year's Internationals, it gave all 5 of them as prestige immortals from one treasure chest, each with their own unique green aesthetic. While this year had the lowest increase compared to the previous year's prize pool, it still broke the previous record and totaled $25,532,177. We now come to the most recent International, 2019, the first time that International has been hosted in Asia, where it took place at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Shanghai, China. As usual, all previous features of the Battle Pass made a return, with the quest board becoming Jungle Expedition, and a new game mode called Wrath of the Morokai being introduced. This year, Valve fully embraced people's fear of missing out by releasing 4 prestige items, only obtainable by leveling your Battle Pass. The first one rewarded a set for the hero Tiny, featuring 4 different models and custom effects. The second was a high-level cosmetic in a brand new category, Persona, completely changing the hero's model, spell effects, and new voice lines. The third was a new Arcana item, Planetfall Arcana for Earthshaker. And finally, at level 425, players received the Axe Unleashed set, featuring brand new animations and voice lines to go along with his new melee fighting style and lack of a signature axe, the hero's namesake. This was the first year that the International's record for the largest esports prize pool was in contention, with the Fortnite World Cup 2019 boasting a prize pool of $30 million. However, after 9 years of perfecting the cosmetic formula, and especially pushing crazy cosmetics at the higher levels, the International and Dota 2 came back strong to claim their title, knocking Fortnite from the top spot and setting a new record once again, with the prize pool reaching $34,330,068. Throughout the 9 years of the International, Valve has figured out what both makes a good esports event and how to get players with no interest in the competitive scene to participate in the festivities. Utilizing the fear of missing out, putting the next reward just out of reach, community polls that alter the game, and straight up creating many high quality cosmetics, Valve has continuously broken the prize pool record, and it doesn't look like they'll be stopping soon. Can Valve keep one-upping themselves? Over the years, the Battle Pass has become increasingly bloated, rarely removing and only adding features and additions. Granted, many of the cosmetics and sets are community made, but it's still an ever-increasing workload getting everything up to polish and ready in time for May. Being the 10th iteration of the International, with the pressure to one-up themselves again, Valve is expected to do something big to celebrate the milestone. However, due to the current global health situation, the International has been delayed, with Valve releasing a statement saying that it's likely that the event will happen in 2021. Nevertheless, this year's Battle Pass was still released, and with 2020 being the International's 10th year in its storied history, Valve seemed to be pulling out all the stops. With the pressure to one-up themselves yet again and break that massive $34 million goal, all eyes and wallets will be waiting. Do you think the Dota 2 community will be able to pull it off and break their own record once again? Let us know in the comments below. My name's Jonah, thanks for watching.